Hello, hello, and welcome to the Rock Metal Podcast. I'm your host, John Harris, and today on Rock Metal Podcast, we have Scattered Storm, and they have a new EP called Oblivion, which is released on July 9th via Blood Blast distribution. And right now I'm being joined by Jay to share some more information about this stellar release, as well as what the boys have got going on. So, Jay, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. So we had a heat wave where I was at, and I mean, you're coming from like Texas, right? So you're like,
oh
yeah, it's never hot enough in Texas. But here in Canada, it was very hot. So when we're approaching like 100 degrees Fahrenheit, it's like something's wrong. Something's very wrong. And so then all of a sudden we went into autumn, and it was like 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So we went from like 100 degrees Fahrenheit to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and now it looks like we're jumping back up. So today is supposed to be close to 90 where I'm at. So, you know, it's good.
I don't know. I'm more of a cold guy, and my guitar is too Kevin because if you look at him, he looks like a Viking. So we're like temperatures here have peaked like at around 112, and that's scorching hot. It's not compared to Phoenix, Arizona, though. They're in the 120s over there, but yeah, definitely 112. You'll feel it in your car, and Kevin sweats profusely. It doesn't matter if it's like 80 degrees. I mean, if he gets some activity going in him, he just sweats galore. So yeah, I was telling him the other day, yeah, you might need to move to the Antarctic or Alaska or something because it's just bad for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does that affect your relationship at all?
Yeah. No. Just get a little bit meaner. People are a bit meaner. No, I'm just kidding. It's just hot.
Yeah. Wow. Does he have to, like, when he plays the guitar, does he have to wear sweatbands and things? And, like, he looks like he's going for a jog, but actually he's just playing guitar?
Well, he looks like we just doused him with a bucket of water, honestly. I mean, and he doesn't wear, like, really, like, I guess, summery clothing. Sometimes he uses flannels in this heat, and I'm like, that kind of, I guess he likes the style of the shirt, but I was like, I don't know about a flannel in 110 degree weather, bro. So I was like,
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever agreed with you more, Jay. Beautiful. Well, I mean, the good news, I guess, is the wintertime we're dealing with, 0 degrees Fahrenheit regularly. So, it's good. It's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let's chat about this EP. And one of the interesting things is that I'm starting to see this Blood Blast distribution coming across my desk. So I imagine you got some chutzpah and you reached out to Nuclear Blast and you were like, we're good enough. And they went, almost. And just kidding. So how did that work out? How did you guys end up with Blood Blast? I love the look on your face. You're like, screw you, man. I was like, I'm sorry.
No, it's not like that at all. It's funny that, we started out with another band during the pandemic, since everybody was pretty much shut down. We had nothing to do, really. So I had a couple of friends, kind of that aren't in the industry currently right now. One of them was Mr. Alan Wallace from Eminence, who I, give a nice little hi. He's from Brazil. So, I had this production company here. Well, not a production, more like a promotional type company. I would bring bands to the border, which, here in El Paso, we're based out of El Paso, Texas, so it's bordered with Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua. So I was kind of doing events in both cities. And a good friend of mine, Matt Lynch from Piston Razors, he's the guitar player. He was like, hey, I got this friend of mine from Brazil. He wants to come play over here. You think you can bring him? And I was like, yeah, sure. Then that's how I met Alan. Alan is an incredible guy, great person, great guitar player. His band is called Eminence. They're from Brazil. Mm-hmm. Great friends with the Sepultura guys, yep. All the people over there. So I kind of just told him, hey, let's start a project during the pandemic, exchange songs. And that band came to be No Life on Earth. Which has pretty big figures too, because it has PJ from Jota Quest, who's probably like, I don't know, Justin Timberlake over there in Brazil. I mean, they're that big. But that's how we got in touch with Blood Blast, I guess. Alan, through his contacts, was looking for like a digital distributor. It's mostly because of that it's mostly digital distribution, which is what we're mainly focused on. I mean, because really, who prints CDs nowadays? I mean, it's funny because they even asked me, like, are you going to have CDs? I'm like, do you need a CD? Like, do you even have a CD player in your car? It's like they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So
I don't.
that was the main focus with Blood Blast. Plus, I mean, the fact that they're backed by Nuclear Blast and Sony, I mean, really, solidifies that, and the contract was great. I mean, I'm not going to complain at all.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, that's how the Blood Blast came about. And then when I contacted them about Scattered Storm, they were like, yeah, definitely, we want the band in the label as well. So I was like, all right, killer, let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Does that make you, I don't know, so confident that you're kind of annoying to be around, where you're like, yeah, I'll just give it up to Blood Blast, I'll take it. Yeah, we want you, of course. I'm Jay. Arriaga.
No, he took his time to answer me back. The rep from Blood Blast, he's based out of France, so I guess it was the time change. But no, he took like a couple of weeks, and he was like, yeah, no, I'll listen to it. It's not as easy as one thinks. But fortunately, I was fortunate that he accepted the band. So
yeah, exactly. Now, well, I guess that kind of brings me to the original question. We were chatting about a bit of the super group forming, because when it came across my desk, it was a super group. Is that kind of how you guys refer to yourselves, or is that sort of like more of a, I don't know, a PR term?
I guess since we have our bass player who joined very late in the process, we already recorded everything and mastered, and we were playing it at his house. Who I'm referring to is Ed Razor. Ed Razor has a great history, a musical history. I mean, he started his band Piston Razors, which did great. It was for one of the first local bands from here in El Paso that made it really back in the 2000s. And I mean, these guys just have a conglomerate of rock star friends, really. I mean, he used to hang out at Dime's house from Pantera and Vinny's house like nothing. They were just buddies. I think he played with Dime at some point when they were going to do Damageplan thing. But, all that kind of fell through. But, if you look at Ed's studio, I mean, you see all the Pantera Platinum records that were given to him as memorabilia. And he has, like, Vinnie Paul's gloves, stuff like that. Great pictures with Dime. I've met Rita, Dime's wife, because I played in Pantera tributes, and they actually invited us to play at the Dime Bash that they have in Dallas. So I was at his house. I was hanging out with Johnny Kelly from Typo Negative, with Dewey Bragg from Kill Devil Hill, Pepe Clark from King. It's a conglomerate of artists. There was Corrosion to confirm when he was there. So it's just that we become connected with the community, with the metal community. And Ed's a big part of that because he used to drum for Overkill as well. So he toured with them in Europe. He did quite the extensive stunt. And, he did the Ministry gig too, playing bass. And I have a friend also from Ministry who plays guitar currently. His name is Cesar Soto. So it's just, there's a lot of hardworking musicians here, really. I don't know if we would call ourselves like a superstar band. It's just a reunion of people that have been in many, many bands and played professionally for a long time. Whether it has been really big or not, I mean, we've kind of been in the community.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm glad you brought up Damageplan, because I was actually chatting with somebody recently about how that kind of, at least from where I'm sitting, that gets brushed under the rug. Everybody likes to talk about maybe a couple Pantera albums, but I think Damageplan kind of gets forgotten. And I was listening to Damageplan recently. I just, threw the record on. It's like 20 years old now, right? But
yeah, 20 years old.
Yeah. A lot of people kind of forget about it. And I don't know why. Why do you think that is, Jay?
Well, I don't think. I mean, hardcore fans obviously know the band. It's just I guess it's a period of separation between Phil Rex and then Vinny and Dime. Where they went on their separate ways and their own things. Plus the band, Dime unfortunately suffered his tragedy with that band. So I guess, I don't know, people try to put that in the back of their heads because, it's kind of painful to remember he was touring with Damageplan when that happened, And everybody says, it's funny, I read sometimes comments, it's like, man, if he would have been with Pantera, if the whole Pantera breakup wouldn't have happened, he'd probably still be here with us, which would be incredible and amazing. But, things just happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. Now let's get back to Scattered Storm. We've got a couple of singles, Kingslayer and Aeon Flux. Kingslayer, I believe, has a music video, correct?
Yes, it does.
Take us through this music video for Kingslayer. Why, out of all the tracks on this album, did this one get the music video, and what went into crafting it?
I mean, we love all the songs. We just thought that this one kind of encompassed really all the styles that we wanted to incorporate. It's very groovy. It's it has the synths, it has the ambience, it has the aggressiveness, it has the singing, and it was just catchy for us. I mean, a lot of the songs are catchy, and that was the intention to do it. Because I'm like, yeah, I can play progressive rock all day if I wanted to, because I had bands like that in the past, and they can extend to like 10, 11-minute songs, but that's not the purpose of this band. We don't want to showcase how technical we are. What we want is to create this, little earworm that when you finish listening to the record, it kind of sticks in your head, really, because attention spans nowadays are very minimal. They're not what they used to be. I mean, if you study markets, if you study your own kids, you're like, well, I used to not be like that. I mean, I used to focus on something for longer than they do. And that's the case with the newer generations right now. And I always wanted to write metal that could be very aggressive, yet have a good melody and a catchy vibe to it, with several other combinations, like the ambient stuff and then the industrial part. So, because at bottom line, when you get to writing music, if it's a steady beat, like a dance beat, sometimes it kind of flows with you. It's natural in our bodies. I guess it's in our DNA, from being primal that way. That's why we call it primal and futuristic at the same time, because we incorporate those elements. So that's pretty much what Oblivion is. It's not that, because we have like 10 other songs that we haven't recorded. We just put out these 6 songs just to test it out. They're like, let's just do these. And Kingslayer was one of them. Kingslayer was probably the 3rd song that we worked, Kevin and I, because Kevin and I wrote most of the tunes. I play guitar too, besides the drums. So we were always at my studio, which is this right here. It's a small ass room. And we were just, he would send me the riffs. We would get together, kind of, work them out. And I don't know, I always found Kingslayer to be, that song that, I would want to showcase as a single and a video. The video part was going to be completely different initially, because we're going to do it at a different place. But then that place ended up canceling on us. And it was like, I swear, a day before we were going to shoot the video. And I was like, okay. So, and then I had Blood Blast already asking the PR company, where's the video? So I was like, okay, I'm going to get a good friend, because I have really good friends that do all kinds of things. So my video guy, Mr. Chris Bond from Disintegrator Films, he's very talented. So I called him. I was like, I have this concept of doing Kingslayer, in a somewhat of a very empty space, that has this greenish color to it. And, and it kind of fared well, because, Kingslayer, when Kevin was writing the riff, he was saying that he was watching a Godzilla cartoon, and I kind of inspired him to call it Kingslayer. And I was like, okay, so the green part, we did the photo shoot in that place too. And then we're like, well, it's green. It looks pretty cool. Let's just do it there. And that's pretty much what we went for. And it was a whole day of shooting, where we had to play the song like 15 times just to get the different angles. But in the end, it turned out to be a really professional product.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you answered several questions I was going to ask, like, why only 6 songs? Why an EP? And one of the things that you got into, which is great, was, you mentioned we want to do heavy, but we want it to be an earworm. Well, how do you do that? And you dived into that. So thank you, Jay. You make my job so much easier. I should have you on the show on a regular basis.
Thank you. I'm glad to help.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, interestingly enough, my next call is not calling, so we will keep going. But then as soon as I start calling, I'll wrap it up.
All right.
Yeah. So far we've chatted about CD players, ostensibly being a supergroup. We chatted about Damageplan. We chatted about Blood Blast. We chatted about Kingslayer. We chatted about a lot of things. I'm actually kind of curious about the drum kit that you've got there, just because it happens to be up and it looks nice. Is that the one that's on the record?
Yeah, actually it is. It used to be bigger, though, because it had the double kicks, the double bass drums, like 3 rack toms. Right now it's pretty simplified, but yeah, it used to be bigger than that. Yeah, I'm not going to say the brand because I don't want to call out brand names. But it's a really nice kit. It's Babinga wood, and it just sounds great, man. Getting the tones in a small room, it's hard, but it's not impossible. So it's a very, very nice drum set, which we're going to use this Friday as well, because we're going to play live here in El Paso. We're going to play the whole EP in its entirety. And it coincides with the release date, which is July 9th. And so same day, we're going to play a show for everybody here locally. And we're going to test out our live show because, we're getting our light techs to kind of work out what we want to put out there in the road. See if it looks visually correct and good.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that, because I'm going to film that. And I'll probably post some of those videos on our social media.
Okay. So in Texas, you guys are able to play shows?
Oh, yeah. Our governor here, even before they lifted the restrictions, he was already like, whatever businesses want to do, if you want to wear a mask, that's fine. If not, don't. Pretty ballsy on their part. But then again, Texas is a pretty heavy Republican state. And if you ever heard about Republicans in the U.S., they're not very science-based, really.
Well, we got to see quite a bit in 2020 of what results from. Yeah.
And it's funny that our town here became like an epicenter at some point, like a really hot spot for COVID. And that was pretty frightening, because we're like, yeah, we get New York, we get Houston or LA, but like El Paso, it's just people not really caring. And, you just gotta, fortunately we I'm vaccinated now, so we were able to get out of that unscathed, if I could use that word, right?
Yeah, I'm vaccinated now, and there's definitely a level of freedom with it, although I'm still respectful of the space, I guess you could say, if that's the way to put it. I'm still wearing a mask when I need to, and whatever else, and so.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely shows are happening here, and they're not regulated as far as who goes or quantity. Really, it's up to people whether they want to go or not, And so far, it's been that people want to go.
Okay.
In a way, it's good. Well, now it's good at this point because, we definitely miss being on stage and playing. It's been a hectic year and a half for sure.
Yeah. That it has. All right. Well, I believe that concludes all of my questions. Is there anything else that you wanted to chat about that I missed, Jay?
No. Thank you for all the support, all the information provided, to the masses. We really appreciate all these conduits or these forms of, distribution, from people. We really appreciate getting our name out there, and hopefully, we'll be up there at some point, touring if that's the case, because it's too early to tell. But the album's doing good, and we're getting some good reviews. So thank you for that.
All right, beautiful.